Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to the new comic book day preview video for June 5th, 2024. We got a lot of cool stuff to break down this week. We're back this week. We took a break from Memorial Day weekend, just kind of celebrate, kind of cut back a little bit, and just have a good time. So that was nice, but missed doing the video, so we're back at it. Got a lot of books to break down. It's an interesting list, that's for sure. So first, new comic book day of June, and yeah, so it should be fun. So let's get into it. Let's see what we got. All right, guys. First up is Cover Fire Best Covers of the Week. And it's an interesting week when it comes to covers, and I'll explain as we go. But first up, we have What If Venom 5, cover A by Lionel Francis Yu. What I really love about this cover is the way it's put together, how it makes the Venom face with the Moon Knight Venom character. I just think the layout and design of this all together is really cool. I would like to see this as a Virgin cover as well, but I don't think that's something they offered, unfortunately. But I still really dig it. Used covers are always pretty cool. So yeah, this was our first pick this week for covers. Next up, we have Batman 148. This is the 125 variant by Homer. Not too familiar with the artist's work, but I love this Punchline cover. I thought it was really cool. I wish it didn't have so much of this gray or like almost yellowish, brownish overtone to it. But still, the art itself is beautiful. Whether like the color doesn't really necessarily stand out for me, which is kind of odd because I feel like Punchline's colors for her character are kind of it's a big part of her like character design. But anyway, the art was really beautiful, and I really love this. Always digging Punchline covers, and this one was done really well. So this was our second pick for best cover of the week. Then we have a couple honorable mentions, which is pretty interesting because they come from the same title. So Poison Ivy 23. This is the 1 in 25 variant by Nimit Malavia. Beautiful Poison Ivy cover. I love the colors on this one. I think the pinks and like the light pinks and reds just really work well on this cover. It was just a really beautiful Poison Ivy cover. I love what like the trade dress placement. It's not too much. Just a really cool 1 in 25. So I might be on the lookout for this one. If I can find it, it will probably be pretty reasonable. We'll see. Never really know. And then next up we have Poison Ivy 23 again. This is the cover B by Chris Bacalo or Bacalo. Not really sure if that's right, but just a really striking, almost graphic Poison Ivy cover. There's a lot to really like about this cover. The bold greens and reds, the skull art, the trade dress in white that really stands out in the corner. I love also the design of Ivy on this cover. There's a little bit more graphic, sharper lines. Really bold colors, like so, just with the white and the green and red, that just makes it really stand out on that all black cover. So I thought this was really cool, and like I said, B cover, so shouldn't be too hard to find this one. So that's it for covers this week, and I'll kind of get into it as I go. It's because a lot of other really great covers just kind of fell into the other categories as well. So there are a bunch of other really nice covers this week, so you want to stay tuned for those. So first up in eagerly awaited most anticipated reads of the week, we had Space Ghost 2 by David Papose and Jonathan Lau. This is just I really enjoyed the first issue of this book, and the cover is amazing. This cover would have made it on the list anyway, but I really enjoyed the first issue so much I wanted to keep this on as an anticipated read and not just focus so much on the cover, even though, like I said, the cover is amazing. But I really enjoyed the first issue. I'm not a huge Space Ghost fan. I liked Space Ghost Coast to Coast when I was younger and getting into Cartoon Network. And I did remember seeing some of the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons with Space Ghost. But as a comic, it's never something I really gravitated towards. And I picked up the first issue. I have a tendency to pick up first issues. I want to read as much as I can for this show and stuff like that. So picked it up, gave it a shot, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really interesting way of telling the story, getting the characters involved in the first issue, and I'm really looking forward to it. Best I could describe it is it's like a Batman cosmic type story. Like it feels like a Batman story set in space, obviously with a different character, but just really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. I'm looking forward to it, and definitely going to keep going with the series. So, and then next up we had The Boy Wonder 2 by Junie Ba. So I loved the first issue of this book. I thought it was written really well. It was really interesting, this kind of unique style of telling Damian Wayne's story from almost like a fairy tale perspective or like a bedtime story perspective. I just thought it really worked well. I love the art. I can't really speak to the covers because for some reason this cover is just really not doing it for me. But the interior work, which is obviously the same artist, is amazing. I thought the art in the first issue was really great, and I loved it. I thought it worked really well with the story. I just had a really good time with the first issue. I will say I am a big fan of the whole Robin like lore, all the different Robins, anything to do with like that. So I just think is really interesting. It's one of the more interesting parts of Batman's story that I find. So just to be fair, I'm a little biased towards Robin stories and Nightwing stories, things like that. So, but like I said, I thought it was really done well, and I really enjoyed it. So I want to keep going. It's a mini series. I think there's 4 or 5 issues of this. So, and each one takes place with a different Robin, I believe. So the first one basically focused on Damian and Nightwing, and Batgirl was also in there, and it also dealt with his relationship with Batman, his father, and Alfred, things like that, which obviously you'll see more of. And I think this next one ties in with Red Hood. So I'm just really looking forward to it. Like I said, I really liked the first series. I know it got a little bit of a mixed reaction from what I heard, but it is something that I really enjoyed. So this is why I made the list. So next up in honorable mentions, we have Last Mermaid 4 by Derek Kirk Kim. I'm surprised this book doesn't get talked about more. It's almost like a silent book. There's not a whole lot of dialogue. So it's like I said last time I had it on the list. It's weird to have it on as the most anticipated reads when there's just not a whole lot to read. But there's a lot to look at, and it's gorgeous. The art's unbelievable in this book. It's so beautiful. I mean, maybe it has something to do with the format of the book. It is a very weird layout because it is like this almost square, not quite magazine sized book. So it's an odd shape for a comic, if that makes sense. But I've just really enjoyed it. I find it very emotional, and you really find yourself pulling for this character. You're just really attached almost right off the bat. And I like I said, the art really struck me and drew me in. You got a new character last issue, so you'll probably be dealing more so with that in this issue. So it's just something I've really enjoyed, and I'm obviously gonna write it after the end. But I could easily also see this being adapted into an animated film or series. So I've really enjoyed it so far. And then next up, we have Get Fury 2 by Garth Ennis and Jason Burrows. This was a good first issue, and I'm excited for the second issue. It was extremely violent, and I kind of expected that. It's a Garth Ennis book. It's a Max series. It's a Punisher series. So I kind of expected it. It's set in Vietnam, during Vietnam. It's just, I kind of expected it, but even still, there's certain points where you're kind of taken back a little bit. Great storytelling by Garth Ennis. The art is okay. It works with the series. Like I said, it can be a little violent at times, but like I said, I came to expect that. Definitely looking forward to this issue more so. I feel like the interaction between the two characters is something you're really excited to see. It is a very unique setting when it comes to where the story takes place, obviously during the Vietnam War and everything. But I've enjoyed it. It was really well done, the first issue. So definitely something to keep your eye on. Okay, so next up we have our funky, fresh, most anticipated new title of the week, and that is Scarlett #1 by Kelly Thompson, Marco Ferrari, and Lee Lowridge from Image Skybound. We're getting the Scarlett book now that Duke and Cobra Commander has ended. This is like kind of next up, and I'm super excited about the team. I love Kelly Thompson. She's one of my favorite writers right now. I just love her work so much. Like I don't know necessarily what it is. I think again, it's like kind of like the emotional ties. Like she really has a way of making you feel for these characters that you're reading and kind of grounding them and humanizing them, I guess, if that makes sense. But I'm just really excited. Everything in the new G.I. Joe runs from in the Energon universe, I've really enjoyed. So I'm looking forward to some new titles, and hopefully they can keep it going. And I honestly, with this team, I'm pretty hopeful that they will. So really looking forward to it. There is a featured cover we wanted to show. So that is the 1 in 25 variant by Steve Epting. It is the explosion background variant that you see, like it's based on the card from the action figures and stuff like that from G.I. Joe. But this is just really cool. I haven't been a fan of all of them, but this is one of them. The other one I liked the most was the Cobra Commander one. But since then, this has been the one that I've been most excited to pick up. So gonna look out for this. There's also a ton of exclusives out there for Scarlett, so keep your eye out for those if that's something you're into. There's a decent amount. It was kind of hard to pick which ones I would want to feature, so I felt it was better going with the 1 in 25 that I really liked as far as a featured coverage for the book. So that's why we went with that one. And then for honorable mentions, guys, there's quite a few for the Funky Fresh category this week. And first honorable mention is the Ultimates #1 by Denise Camp, Juan Figueroa, and Federico Blee from Marvel. Get a new Ultimates book, a new series in the Ultimates universe, which is pretty cool. The team is really interesting. Iron Lad, Cap, Doom, Thor, Civ, like just something different. I kind of like that. That's where you're starting out with this team. It's not just your normal kind of what you would think of an Avengers team. So it looks pretty interesting to me. I'm picking up everything in the Ultimates universe right now. Some have been better than others. Obviously, I'm still really enjoying the Spider-Man, still really enjoying X-Men. Black Panther has been okay. Still reading it, still enjoying it. Like I said, I want to keep up with the universe. So just kind of picking up anything they're putting out right now with this in this universe. You also get like this Ant-Man on the cover, so I'm not sure what's going on with all that. I'm not too familiar with the whole background of what's going on in this universe, so it's kind of coming together, but I wasn't very up on it before Spider-Man, so just to put that out there and be honest about that. But like I said, I've enjoyed it, so something I'm definitely looking for. And then next up, we have Falling in Love on the Path to Hell #1 by Jerry Duggan, Gary Brown, and Chris O'Halloran from Image. It just sounds like a really interesting book. I feel like we're on this like Renaissance period of Westerns. I feel like Westerns have just been huge lately. We got Ain't No Grave, Blood Brothers Mother. There's a few other ones. So there's Gunslinger Spawn. I just feel like there's a decent amount of Westerns out there, and they're all pretty good, honestly. At least the ones I've been reading. But this is interesting. You get a female samurai, a gunslinger, and I think their paths kind of like the crossover. But I think the title, from what I read about the description, is supposed to be taken a little bit more literally than metaphorically. Falling in Love on the Path to Hell. I literally think that's what's taking place in this book, because the blurb about the book has something to do with the dead and undying and damned heroes and things like that in purgatory. So I have a feeling that it kind of takes place in this almost like otherworldly plane. Like, I don't know. I'm going to have to see what it's about, but it looked really cool. And like I said, the Westerns are kind of on fire right now as far as like good books are concerned. So I thought the cover art on this was beautiful. I think the idea of it's just the two main characters alone sounded really interesting to me. So definitely picking it up. There is a featured cover we wanted to show, and that is the 1 in 10 variant by Rian Gonzalez, or maybe it's Ryan Gonzalez. I think it's Rian. But yeah, in their covers are normally, you'll see, and they're a little bit more cartoonish. I felt like this one was a little bit more grounded in reality a little bit, if that makes sense. But I just absolutely love it. I think the samurai looks really cool. I love the cherry blossoms coming off like the page a bit, and like that background staying in with the white border. There is a virgin. I'm not sure if it's an exclusive or another variant, like a 1 in 50 or something like that. I think it's an exclusive, but I could be wrong about that. But I did like the trade dress on this, though. I think that's why I ended up keeping it in there, like with the white and pink trade dress. I just think this is a really beautiful cover. So I'm going to be looking for this one. It's a 1 in 10, so it shouldn't be too bad. Hopefully I can find it. And then we did have one more honorable mention, and that is Vampirella Dark Reflections #1 by Todd Snigalski, uh, Jeannie Akerson. Sorry about that. Daniel Main, and this is from Dynamite, obviously. This is just a really awesome Vampirella Jenny Frizen cover. Beautiful skull art. Love I'm not sure if these are poppies or what was the other? I don't think they're roses, but or carnations, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Not sure. And anyway, there's also a virgin variant. I think it's a 1 in 20, but I could be wrong about that. So you might want to check that out if that's what you're looking for. I do like the trade dress on this, but I'll be looking for the virgin as well. And there's also 2 other covers we wanted to feature for this one, and they are exclusive. So I might do a little bit of hunting for these. Hopefully they're still available by the time this video gets released. That's definitely possible that they're not, but just wanted to feature them because they were really beautiful. So this is the Dampenosian 789 exclusive. Dampenosian has been on fire with his covers. Again, really beautiful skull art, but really love the colors on this. I love the blue background. Just really, really well done. This is such a beautiful Vampirella cover. I believe there's another exclusive that has the trade dress on it. And I think there's like either a metal or a foil. So you're going to have to just kind of check these out. But this is just kind of get you started. There is a Dampenosian exclusive out there. And then there's also, pardon me, the Will Jack Comic Corner exclusive. Another beautiful Vampirella cover. Again, there's virgins and foils, and I think a metal. So, you'll have to hunt for which one you're actually looking for. I do prefer this with the trade dress behind Vampirella. I just think this is a really beautiful cover. So there you guys have it for the Funky Fresh category. Like I said, not so many covers in the cover fire category because there were so many other covers featured in other categories. So that's why you kind of have the covers are kind of mixed out through all the different slides. And then for our spotlight key of the week, we chose X-Men 35, and I just listed from Marvel because if you notice on the right side of that of that cover, you'll see every artist and writer listed. There's a ton. They basically took everyone that worked in the Krakoan era of X-Men and had them come back for this issue and work on it. So key significance, it's a milestone 700 issue. I believe that's the legacy issue because it is issue 35. And then it is the end of the Krakoan era. At least that's how they're billing it. So there you have it. We did have one, pardon me. We did have one honorable mention for Spotlight Key of the Week. And this one is Cult of Lamb, #1 by Alex Packnadel and Troy Little from Oni Press. Key significance, limited series that explores the backstory of the Lamb inspired by the video game. So if you've never heard of Cult of the Lamb, it's this really cool kind of indie game that I've looked for it on Switch, and I haven't played it yet. I did buy it, but I haven't played it yet. But it is widely popular, and I guess this is a little bit of a speculation. So if this is the first time these characters will be in a comic, so something to look out for. Doesn't hurt to pick up a copy and stash it, and maybe somewhere down the line, if something happens with Cult of the Lamb, it is a popular game. I'll say that people love it and swear by it. It was highly recommended to me when I was looking to get a new game. So yeah, just take that for what it's worth. That's why it's an honorable mention. I'm not sure what this is going to be about or if it's going to be a good book or anything like that. But like I said, it might be worth picking up a copy or two, throwing it to the side and stashing it just for a little bit of speculation. They believe there is also a Stanza Kai variant. I think it's like a 1 in 20 or something like that. So keep an eye out for that as well. Stanza Kai covers always do well. You saw Yojimbo, obviously. And yeah, guys, so that's everything for the week. So you can see it's a pretty interesting week. A lot of cool stuff, depending on what you're looking for. A lot of interesting reads. I'm really looking forward to the Space Ghost issue. Really looking forward to the Scarlett series. So that's probably my 2 things that I'm really looking forward to the most. The Ultimates as well. Hopefully that's good. And Falling in Love on the Path to Hell as well is probably up there. Trying to think of stuff we have going on this month. We do have a comic show mid-June, the Garden State Comic Fest. So I'll be at that. Going to my first Renaissance Fair this weekend, which is interesting, going to New Jersey Renaissance Fair. So I'm looking forward to that. So that should be fun. And then just a couple of little things, concerts and stuff like that as summer starts to heat up. So Hope everyone is having a great week. I hope you guys are getting out to your LCS, finding what you love, collecting what you love. And yeah, guys, happy hunting, and I'll see you guys next week.